Welcome to the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast. I am your host, feeling a little lighter today than I normally am, but Chris Kirkwood. I'm here with my boys as usual, and fresh off a 50K win with Cam Ward at quarterback, which he touted on the show. So you guys are all welcome for that. Derek Farnsworth, the Notorious one, always called you the GOAT. Think you're the GOAT, and you just proved why you're the GOAT. So what's up, man? Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. The GOAT for playing a bad Cam Ward, running back in the flex that started early and didn't stack my quarterback. So ended up being a great week. Talked about a lot of the plays on the show here and in my article. And sometimes everything comes together. I don't know if you guys know, I don't ever check how I'm doing in contests. So TJ texted me or sent me a message on Discord or Slack and was like, hey, we both have a shot. And I was like, what? And maybe it's in like $100 contest or something, but it was in the Millie Maker. Could have played Tyrod, could have won the Millie, but can't complain. Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing all right. Beer, how we doing?
I'm good, man. I mean, 50K. Love it. We kept saying it's close. We're circling around. It's only a matter of time. So couldn't be happier for our boy to take that down. And all this, the flex, the Cam Ward, look, it says 50K in the green. So I don't give a shit what that lineup looked like to win with a quarterback getting you 6 points. I mean, kudos to that. How often do you see that in any contest? So awesome. He's on the high end. Kirk, I know you're kind of on the low end here, not talking DFS, but, going through it with some old colonoscopy. So we got the high, the low. I guess I'll be somewhere in the middle here.
So I'll give the people a warning. Get your colonoscopies when you get over 40 years old, people. It was the worst night of my life on Thursday night. I was fighting for my life, trying to drink this absolutely disgusting gallon of this stuff. And I did an inadequate prep. Unfortunately, I wasn't good enough when I got there, but I still had it, put me under. And I got to do one again in a year. So because of the prep wasn't adequate. I just looked at the instructions on Wednesday night, and I had instructions for like a week that I was supposed to follow. So that's my bad. I feel like I let myself down, let the doctor down. I let you guys down. But DFS wise, it was a good week for all of us here. Even TJ was sweating if he just didn't have the Seahawks. If he had the highest lineup without the Seahawks D. So he was a little upset there for the Millie Maker, and for good reasons. Seahawks D though. Got it there for Noto. And my question to Noto is, you have to buy a Cam Ward jersey. Yeah,
that and a Max Brosner jersey. I think I need both of them hanging up in my office.
Yep. And that's so like when I won in baseball, I got second in the baseball live final for like $350. I bought the Sean Doolittle, the reliever who gave up all the home runs to my player. I bought the Sean Doolittle jersey and have it hanging in my room.
I still have an MJD jersey from way back in the day from the FanDuel final I won in 2010. 4 touchdowns for that beast that day. So definitely went out and got that. So still looking for that MJD auto on that bad boy. So anyone's got any connections with them, let me know.
No, speaking of auto, I do have a Keith Kirkwood autographed jersey that my girl DM'd him on Instagram and said, told him that she dates a Kirkwood and he's always talking about you and asked if he would sign the jersey. And she sent it to him personally. He signed it, sent it back. It was awesome.
Nice.
Long story short, here we got the nice slate going on. I actually think this is a great tournament week personally for me. There's a lot of different ways we can go. We don't have massive glaring chalk. I mean, kind of do have some running backs, but we'll talk all through it. But I'm liking the slate personally, but let's get a little housekeeping out of the way here so we can jump right into it. Let's just talk about our 3-day pass here at RotoGrinders. So if you want to try our NFL DFS tools without a full season commitment, we're still doing the 3-day pass for a limited time. Get half off a 3-day NFL pass and access everything you need to crush the slate. You'll get an optimizer tool, the lineup HQ, and that'll be packed with player projections, ownership projections, and more. You'll also see who players like in there. You'll see who Noto likes, who Beer likes, who Bobby Gomes likes, all the people here at RotoGrinders. There's plays in there, but also get access to SimLabs NFL, easiest way to build smart competitive lineups in just a few clicks. All that and more for only $9.99. So cheap. Crush the slate, and it's easy. It's $9.99. That's nothing. So don't miss out on this elite value. All right, let's start talking the slate, fellas. Big picture overview. Beer. What stood out to you in your prep here today?
I really like the slate. I'm with you. We have so many running backs, and yes, there's going to be a few that are more highly owned than the others, but I don't think we're going to get super chalk there. So a lot of ways you can go there. We have the clean Jacoby Brissett, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride back in our lives. Marv, sit down, go back to the shop. So we have that going on. We have Cincinnati and Buffalo with Burrow back. That game should be fun. We have weather. We have the huge NFC North showdown between the Bears and my Green Bay Packers. Just awesome. My only complaint, I wish we got more than 3 games in the 4 o'clock window, but it's better than 2 or 1, I suppose. But all in all, looks fun, and there's quite a few spots I really like that aren't going to see a lot of ownership, which is what we are here to talk about, getting different in tournaments. So looks like an awesome week to me. Excited about it.
Yeah, I agree. Noto, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, like you guys said, it should be a fun slate. I do like that the weather, it's just going to be cold. It's not going to be really windy. So I think people are going to get scared off by the cold temps, maybe the light snow. But as we've seen over the years, it's more about wind than anything else when it comes to the weather. So I'm not too worried about any of those games. We haven't really seen any of the totals drop like you might expect for bad weather games. So yeah, it's a fun slate. Love the Brissett stack, like Beer mentioned. And but yeah, we'll get into it.
They did throw a wrench in there. It's against the Rams, which should be good for trailing purposes, but is a tough defense. But let's get right to it. So I'll just look at it. We got 11 games for totals. We got Cincy at Buffalo coming in at the highest, 53.5 point total. Rams at Arizona, 47.5 point total. We're going to talk Brissett. We're going to like Brissett. We got the Colts -1.5 at Jacksonville, 46.5 point total. We got 244.5 point totals with Seattle at Atlanta. Seattle's a pretty decent favorite, 6.5 points. We also have Chicago at Green Bay, which Beer was mentioning, big game for his Packers. 2 good teams, should be a fun one. 44.5 point total there. And then Washington comes in with a 44 point total. They're 1.5 point favorites over Minnesota. Quickly looking at Cardi's blitz most plays, you got Rams at Arizona, Tennessee at Cleveland, Seattle at Atlanta. Over at ETR, the Up and Pace article, it's the Rams at Arizona, New Orleans at Tampa, and Cincy at Buffalo. So those are the games. Should be a little bit up in pace. And let's do what we always do, start at the running back position. We will then head over to QBs. Then talk about our stacks with the wide receivers, some tight ends, talk some defenses, and then we will build a lineup for the people and for us. All right, running back position. This is where probably the best plays are. People are talking about a 3 wide receiver week here. I think you can get more. You can get different by doing double tight end. You can do just 2 wide receivers. A lot of different ways we can build lineups around, but leading the pack here looks like the best play to me is James Cook. Probably going to be the most owned. We finally saw volume. He had 35 touches last week, 32 attempts and 3 targets. That kind of volume in a game where they're expected to win with a high total, the highest total on the slate. Just only a little bit of cold weather there in Buffalo, but should be a James Cook game. Josh Jacobs, who's a little bit hobbled, seems a little bit banged up, is 6,800. So that's definitely a fade candidate that we will talk about. Achan, I played him last week. That gave me a strong week. Everyone went down with the ship with Kenneth Walker, who is probably the next best play here. That people are going to go right back to. Maybe some people don't, but this is a much better spot as a big favorite against the Atlanta defense that's just been giving it up everywhere. So Kenneth Walker, this I think is finally the week. We got RJ Harvey to talk about, Breece Hall to talk about, but I'll let Noto, the 50K man, start it off. Who are your key personnel this week at the running back position?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. James Cook stands out above the rest. It's hard not to like him. I mean, since he's bottom 3 in PFF's run grades, EPA against the run, fantasy points allowed to running backs. And that game, like that's the easiest way to get exposure to that game. Cook feels underpriced, coming off of a really big game against the Steelers in a tough matchup. So he's my favorite for sure. I'm not too worried about the Jacobs injury. He was taken off the injury report, had 18 touches last week. He played on 55% of the snaps. I think that's going to go up this week. And they're a large home favorite, too, against a nice matchup against the Bears. So I do like Jacobs, probably more on DraftKings than FanDuel, given the price point differences. Achane gets it done every week, so I'm fine going to him again. And then I've been on the fade Breece Hall bandwagon pretty much most of the season, but I think I'm going to hop on him this week. I think it's a good spot for him at home against the Dolphins. The Jets are playing pretty well. And with Tyrod back in the lineup over Justin Fields, he's getting more work in the passing game. So he's kind of my favorite lower owned mid-range guy. Outside of that, not a ton of interest. I mean, Bucky Irving, I want to hear you guys' take on him just because, I don't know, they still have 3 good running backs there. And the Saints, it should be a good game script. But I do worry, like, he's going to need the touchdowns to kind of pop in this one.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to get them personally. I think they're going to need to lean on the run game because that's what they should do against New Orleans, I think, here, with Baker still being a little bit hobbled too as well. He's definitely not the same Baker in the beginning of the season. Doesn't look right to me. But Beer, what are you thinking here, running back?
3 running backs I absolutely love this week. They're all going to be owned. And again, we don't have to avoid ownership everywhere. I think they're all pretty good chalk. James Cook is my favorite play of the week by far. Head and shoulders above the rest. I feel very confident in this one. It's hard not to. Noto mentioned some of the numbers. Cincinnati across the board. I can give you every single stat. It's rushing yards. It's rushing touchdowns. It's receiving as well. And he's starting to get a little bit bigger role there, seeing 2, 3, 4 targets a game, 14 receptions on 14 targets over the last month. Fantasy points, touchdowns, receiving, all of it is there for James Cook. So love him. Achane absolutely in play again, just seeing such a huge role in that offense. I think that game, has some sneaky shootout upside, 2 bad defenses. So really like him. And Bucky Irving is in that group of 3 for me. I mean, we saw last week he was supposed to be on a snap count. What's it going to look like? This guy comes in and just dominates that backfield. So I do think this is a great spot for him. The concern is if the game gets out of hand, we sit him down, now that the Tuckers and the Whites get more work, but he's probably a big part of what got that done to get them such a big lead. So those 3 are my favorites. I love starting lineups with those 3, and I think there's some good value at the wide receiver, tight end position. Those 3 head and shoulders above the rest. Ownership-wise, Breece Hall kind of a step down from them, but I do think he's a great play, whether on his own or in stuff with Tyrod. I think there's enough passing there that you can get creative with that stack. And then some low-owned tournament guys I really like. Derrick Henry against Pittsburgh, huge game for Baltimore here and Pittsburgh. We saw with James Cook, you mentioned the volume for James Cook. Can I get 30 Derrick Henry carries against a defense that just got trampled? I think a big game is in store there. So I like him a little bit more on FanDuel, obviously for the kind of lack of passing upside. He gets a target or 2 here and there, but nothing significant. But really like him in tournaments. Chase Brown, and this is more so in stuff that you're utilizing Josh Allen, but Buffalo just been so bad against opposing ground games. So you worry about Pirine. That's certainly the concern is that, it's almost a split there. How much passing work is he going to get? But Joe Burrow, it just elevates this offense. So I think Chase Brown is in play. And Kyron Williams is another one. And again, the concerns are Blake Corum. Is he healthy? Love him in a, you're running your Arizona stuff. You want to run it back option. He's going to be the cheapest. You try to get them receivers in there. It can be tricky. But I think Kyron is in play in that game. And then a super gross, super deep in that same game. Michael Carter, I think, is going to be in play here as well for his pass catching upside. Again, this is not a play him in cash games. I got 1, 2, 3 lineups, play him. This is you running a bunch of lineups. You need some value. I think he can do enough in the passing game to get you there.
So did I miss, because I was looking at my notes and stuff too. Did anybody mention Jonathan Taylor?
Nope.
Not yet.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, that's crazy, right? The best running back at 9,300. Yes, it's pricey, but against Jacksonville, it's just not a horrible matchup by any means. He should be on the field probably for every snap in this one. So I'm interested there. I'm gonna just say that I'm definitely gonna be playing Kenneth Walker heavily in the dome because of the price at 5,600. It's just the Atlanta defense, and if they're ahead, that's when his usage numbers spike. If they're trailing, they're much lower, than they use more Charbonnet. I think this is a week where he's actually going to go off and flop lag from everyone who played him last week. I do like Breece Hall again. I like Quentin Judkins again. I liked him last week. He just mediocre performance from what I was expecting, but he did have 23 touches. Didn't find the end zone. If he did, he would have had a massive game. Browns kind of were a letdown. I like the Browns this week, so I'm on board there. I know Noto played Bijan. So Bijan and Taylor, give me your guys' thoughts. Noto.
Yeah, I mean, they're both going to get the volume. I prefer Taylor over Bijan just given the matchups. But do you know the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville?
It's been a long time. I know that.
2014, kind of crazy with how bad the Jaguars have been over the last 10 years. Doesn't mean you shouldn't play Taylor. I still like him. He's going to be involved regardless of how the game script goes. And yeah, he's top 30 fantasy points 6 times, I think, this season, which is easily the highest of any running back. So I like that call. Beer, what are your thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I prefer Taylor as well out of those two. I think Bijan makes sense in any Seattle stuff. I'm sure we're going to talk JSN, who great bounce back spot, probably doesn't see a ton of ownership. Yes, it's expensive, but I think he makes sense in that case to kind of push Seattle. They're going to need something on the Atlanta side. I just don't see Kirk Cousins being that guy. So makes sense there. But yeah, Taylor, I believe we mentioned him last week. He's just, facing some tough matchups, and there's so many good running back plays that nobody wants to play him. So absolutely fine with that one. Not a great matchup. Jags much more vulnerable through the air, but a low-owned Jonathan Taylor always makes sense in tournaments.
Did we talk Chase Brown at all?
Yeah, I brought him up. Again, I prefer him more, and we'll get to quarterbacks, but any Josh Allen stuff, things like that on the other side. But just worry somewhat about the P. Ryan split, but Burrow back certainly helps him. So I have some interest there for sure.
And just that the defense just gives up so much in the run game of the Bills. So I could see that working out. Do we have anyone else that you want to get off your chest, Noto?
Don't mind RJ Harvey in tournaments. I think the Raiders might be the worst football team in the NFL, right there with the Titans. So the Broncos could roll in this one. Genty's getting some love. I mean, we haven't projected for like 20% ownership. I get that he's been more involved, but it's really hard for me to click his name right now.
Yeah, it's just the usage. It's, he's on, too bad he's on a bad offense, but 15 carries last week. The real number was he had 8 targets, 6 receptions. So I think, he's a full-time running back here in a pretty good matchup, I would say. But again, their team is just so bad that can't really get excited about them. But 6,100, the price is good against the defense, which is tough. But like, you're going to have to get passing. That's where you get the production, is in the passing game for running back against Denver. That's why I was saying their matchup isn't so bad, and getting those targets last week. So I can definitely see it. Yeah, I like your guys' Henry call. Right, like just give him the carries against Pitt.
Right,
and it's December.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
There's some questions in the chat about some fringe guys that we didn't bring up. So Blake Corum is a name. The Bears running backs, Aaron Jones, likely back against Washington. Chris Rodriguez, Keaton Mitchell. None of those really excite me too much. I'm going to be honest. I can make a case for all of them. I can make more of a pessimistic case for all of them. Rodriguez is a guy I did place a bet on early in the week. I do think his rushing yards line was a little bit too cheap. He is functioning as the lead back. We know they're going to use multiple backs, but as far as DFS goes, none of those guys really moved the needle for me. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on any of those guys for the chat, but none of those names are super exciting to me this week.
And Rodriguez, he is the lead back, and I felt stupid. You know how we tried to get our Humphrey first touchdown the other night in Denver, and it was Rodriguez.
We have who do we have?
Who do we have? The backup.
I gotta think back. Yeah, I know. We'll remember.
On Washington?
No, Denver.
Oh, it was McLaughlin.
I said
and he was getting some carries in the.
He
game,
had the chance. I said that's all you could ask for. Plus
Absolutely.
1,800 we had, but I was like, why did he was over? But Rodriguez was over. I think he was like plus 1,200. I was like, how did we not have Rodriguez?
I know. I looked at it, but
yeah. Anyway, only one that stands out to me in those names that you said is maybe Aaron Jones, just because they need to hide JJ, and he could get some passing work too, but I don't necessarily love it. But 5,300, that price is interesting to me against Washington's defense for sure. I don't know. Any other thoughts, guys? Should we move it on?
No, just the Corums, the Keaton Mitchells, blowouts. Corum is getting more work than we thought he would get, and whether it's a function of Kyron's not 100% healthy, they want to split, whatever it may be. He's probably my favorite out of that group if you wanted to go there. But again, there's so many good plays. You're really facing an uphill battle. When you need a big game out of Keaton Mitchell, out of Corum, out of Chris Rodriguez, and you're going against Cooks, A-Chance, things like that. So I just think there's so many good plays that it's tough to make those work this week.
Yeah, when it comes to fringe plays, give me the fringe receivers over the fringe running backs.
Yep. All right, let's move it over to quarterback. We've got, let's see here. It looks like to me, Josh Allen is probably going to get the most love, but he's not the cash. He's going to get the most tournament loves, I would say. Certainly he's in play for cash as well, too, but I think Brissett is probably going to get some ownership, and maybe Jaden Daniels, maybe even Trevor Lawrence. So it looks like from ownership, we don't really have to worry about it much this week because we're not showing like anyone like 15, 20% or anything like that. So I think it's all spread out, so everyone's in play. So Josh Allen obviously has the highest ceiling of anyone. This game could absolutely go nuts with Burrow and him going back and forth in the cold weather. So I definitely like him. The rushing is touchdowns there is what you need. Daniels, I don't know what to expect of him. Minnesota's a pretty good defense. So I'm definitely not in love, but it is 6K. And this is tell me he's going to run, and I'm in at 6K, but I don't know that. So I'm a little worried. Brissett, he's our guy. It's just passing volume, right? Like it's just the number of attempts. Like just look at his game log score from week 6 to week 13. It's just over 20 points in every single one of them. 29 completions, 40 passing attempts last week, 49 the week before that, 57 the week before that, 44 the week before that. It's just passing attempts, and you get we have concise options now, right? Like we have Michael Wilson, we have Brissett, and that's it with Dortch and Marvin Harrison out this week. So definitely like that. Tyrod Taylor, you get the cheap AD Mitchell connection, which finally worked. So like that. Trevor Lawrence, I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Matthew Stafford for MVP, plus has the cheat code to Devontae Adams. It's the new tush push, just the pass to Devontae and Stafford to Devontae. Sam Darnold, probably like him with JSN, but there's a lot of ways to go. So what are we thinking, Bear?
So Josh Allen to me is, he's going to be owned, but like we talk about quarterbacks, the one position you don't really worry about ownership because it tends to spread out. So, 10%, 11, 12, whatever it ends up being, this is a spot where he could get pushed. And we talk about that all the time. If it was, Flacco rolling in with the Bengals, probably not pushing him. But now that Burrow's back, this with the total indicating that this should be a higher scoring game. So Josh Allen, whether you want to get away from James Cook, whether you want to add the two together and do it that way, I think there's a lot of ways that you can play him. So he stands out on the high end. I already, professed my love for Jacoby Brissett once again. Just makes it cleaner without Marv. There's also no Dortch. So, they're going to have to dig deep into that bag of wide receivers. Wilson and McBride are going to get so many targets, likely playing from behind here against the Rams. Not going to be able to get the ground game going, in my opinion. So those two are my favorites. As far as tournaments go, you mentioned Sam Darnold. I just worry about Atlanta being able to do enough to push them. But Darnold, the JSN, should be very low on this week. So I do like that. Some of the cheap plays, you mentioned Tyrod, using Mitchell. I think you can go back to Mechie, who nobody's going to want to play, include Breece Hall in that. Plenty of run backs on the Miami side. I think Tua is in play in that same game and just flipping the build a little bit and going to that side. Tyler Shuck is in play this week, in my opinion. There's some cheap options that you can stack him up with this week. Another team playing from behind, going to have to throw a bunch. He's shown he can put numbers on the board. So I do like that. Daniels, I would more so play on DraftKings at that $6K price compared with his $8,500 on FanDuel. That one may be tough to swallow. And I think Jordan Love is in play. Jacob's going to be highly owned. Watson probably going to have a lot of ownership. Nobody's going to play Jordan Love in a big game. We've seen he can put 3-4 touchdowns on the board. So I think he's a great tournament option here as well. But I really like the cheap guys this week. If I'm not going to Allen or Brissett, a lot of Shuck, a lot of Tyrod, and some Tua for me this week.
Tua, I'm going to pass on probably, but I definitely like Shuck. It's really the fact that he's just running the ball too now in this matchup with Tampa Bay. So 6 and 7 rushing attempts the last 2 weeks. So I like it. 4,600, just real cheap. I mean, how much do you really need out of him? Plus, Olave is an easy pairing. Juwan Johnson's getting a bunch of targets still, so like that. Who do you like, Noto?
Yeah, and he's not my favorite, but I'm glad Beer brought up Jordan Love. My favorite stat of the week is Jordan Love is first in the NFL in passer rating, deep completions, touchdown to interception ratio during Toyotathon. You have Bears fans calling Toyota asking them to cancel or move their Toyotathon event because they're scared of Love during Toyotathon. So it's so random, but
that is a narrative I did not have on my bingo card. I
know it's great. So he's great during November and December is basically what that means. So I don't mind looking at that. Easy pairing with Christian Watson. The Bears not good at covering their deep ball. But yeah, I like the two quarterbacks in the Rams and Cardinals game. You mentioned Brissett, 20-plus fantasy points in every game. The pass attempts are going to be there again because they're going to be playing from behind and because the Rams can score quickly. So I love him. And then I love Matthew Stafford. You mentioned the MVP narrative. He's no longer the favorite. Drake May is now the favorite to win in terms of the odds. Your boy. Do you have a bet on him?
Hey, you got that ticket, Kirk?
No. I don't.
Damn. The way you got like, all right, he's got a big ticket lined up.
Because I'm happy. I'm a fan. Okay. And I like where I'm set up, but I don't have any futures tickets.
He was like 50-1.
Yeah, I should have. And I should have I should be sitting on Jaylen Brown MVP tickets too. I do have one of those. I did that like way back.
There's no way he gets.
Yeah, right. But no way. But as a Boston homer, plus he for Jaylen Brown only has that's a different show to talk about. But his usage rate is just right up there with Luka and Giannis level. So,
and you just never. Anyway. I mean, I love Drake May coming into the season, but I wouldn't have been. Yeah, no chance he can be the MVP, and here we are. So life happens fast.
And he's just so efficient, but he doesn't like. But really, I would think Stafford should get it. I would think personally, but just to be in the conversation and being the favorite right now, I love it. Love to see it. Love all the hate too. A lot of New England haters out there.
You're our Jags guy. What about Lawrence this week?
I have yet to play him this season. I think he's in a good spot. This is the first week I'm considering him. Big game at home. Again, Jags, for every reason, they play great against Indy at home. And the problem is I don't know who to stack him with. I mean, Myers is getting expensive. I'm never a big Myers guy. Strange. You have Parker Washington who's probably going to play. So if Washington's out, that might change my opinion a little bit.
I think you go Jacoby. I think it's
Like, do we want to pay a premium for Jacoby Myers?
That
Like
guy.
the truthers are going to be chasing last week's game for years.
Yep.
We finally had a decent day.
I would do BTJ if it's me. I mean, no ownership, more upside than Jacoby. Yeah, he had a good game. But tell me how many big games Jacoby Myers has had. You can go back years. I'll wait. So I think Strange BTJ is an interesting combo on that team. So no Sauce Gardner certainly helps the matchup for the receivers. So I haven't landed on it yet, but I certainly see the intrigue.
I would say you could double them, but then they just love running the ball so much.
They do.
Is there any way Cleveland lets Shedeur Sanders loose a little bit?
I mean,
just to see what they have,
I mean, they have let him. I think
he's had like 20 pass attempts a game.
I think that's who he is.
Yeah.
I think Judkins gets
I do too.
20 plus carries easy.
And finds the end zone. I'm definitely betting for Judkins TD this week.
Richie Smalls did point out no Sauce Gardner for Indy, so that is a nice boost.
Yep, for sure. All right. Any flyers? Anyone we miss? No, right?
I think
maybe Joe Burrow.
Maybe
Chase.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to score, he's going to be a part of it. So
I mean, he went 46 passing attempts against the Ravens.
Worth noting that Buffalo's pass defense is significantly worse without Joey Bosa, and he's out this week.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'll play some Burrow for sure. And Chase. I mean, and T. Higgins even back.
Yeah, it's another clear, how many clear doubles do we have? I mean, there's a few, but that's certainly one of them.
I might have missed it. Is anyone playing McCarthy? He keeps projecting well. I'm not going to play him though.
I can't.
Yes.
I can't.
Projection slappies are, but other than that, if you call yourself like a no ball team, you're on no ball team. You can't play JJ McCarthy. That guy sucks. That's my opinion.
It's a great matchup, a great price. Jefferson's the cheapest he's been ever. I mean, I've tried and I just can't get there. So, as we say, he beats me, so be it. But I'm not going there.
I got screwed with some. I tried to outthink everyone and play Lamar. Tried to say he's healthy this week. He ran bad, but definitely looked bad. I don't think I want to go to Lamar, but it is a good matchup. All right, let's move it over to wide receiver before I convince myself on some other guys. Crazy. Michael Wilson coming in looking like the extreme chalk, but should get peppered with targets, as we said. Christian Watson, 5,200. It's going to be all about that mid-range here, the mid-lower range here, because you got 80 Mitchell, Christian Watson, Michael Wilson, all wide receiver ones in their offenses and coming off of decent weeks. Or Wilson, he didn't have but he had to fend off Marvin Harrison last week in Dortch and doesn't have that. So we're right back to the 15, 18 target potential that he saw in the weeks 11 and 12. So all those guys, I get it. I like all of them personally. I love Jamar Chase. Puka, I want to hear some thoughts on. Luther Burden now with Rome out. So cheap, 3,800 looks good. Should be out there a bunch on the field with good opportunity in this tough matchup with Green Bay, but not so bad. So I don't mind him for the cheap stuff. The high end, like I said, you got Chase, you got JSN, but what are we thinking, Noto?
Yeah, Wilson's my favorite point per dollar guy. The two games that Harrison's missed, I think he caught like 28 passes, something crazy like that. So with me liking Brissett, he's an easy pairing for me. And I like McBride too. I think everyone playing Wilson's going to be good news for the McBride ownership. But we'll get to that in a little bit. My favorite's up top, JSN, coming off his worst game of the season. But, man, they didn't have to do anything. Brosner just kept turning the ball over in that last game. This week they go to Atlanta in the Dome. I think we see a big bounce-back game for JSN. Also like Jamar Chase. 8,200 feels too cheap. Like the fact that he's significantly cheaper than Puka and JSN, sign me up for that. Then a lot of mid-range guys that I like. Christian Watson, he's led the team in routes run, target share, air yards over the last 3 games. So he's kind of been the go-to guy for Jordan Love, who again, it's Toyotathon. So fire up some Christian Watson, Adonai Mitchell. We talked about his air yards last week. I think it was like 60% of the team's air yards in the last few games, and we finally got the ceiling game from him. He's still too cheap. I still prefer him over Mechie, but both are viable against the Dolphins. Alec Pierce, I think, is a great pivot away from Tyler Warren, who's going to be the chalk at tight end. Pierce just continues to get a bunch of deep looks. I mean, he caught a touchdown last week against the Texans in brutal matchup, and we've seen the Jags get beat with some deep passes this season. So I like him as a pivot away from Warren. And then for value, I'm kind of looking at Devon Vele. You know, Chris Olave's banged up a little bit. And so I'm kind of hoping Olave plays so that Vele is not like the complete chalk. But pass funnel against Tampa, I just think he could be good at 3,700.
Yep. Just missed the 100-yard bonus. Probably another catch would have done it for him. Did get in the end zone, but had 23 fantasy points against Miami. And so I like that call for sure. Did you mention Egbuka at all?
I'm not a huge Egbuka guy this week. I don't mind the matchup. He just hasn't been getting it done. So
he's on my list.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear the list.
The list. So high end, JSN, I think, is a phenomenal bounce back candidate. Even playing him on his own. I like the Darnold and JSN stuff, but again, I worry about Atlanta, Kirk Cousins. Can they muster enough offense? So either way you want to play that, it's fine. Devontae Adams just keeps scoring touchdowns, keeps outproducing Puka, and keeps being 5, 6, 7% owned. So I get the love for Puka. I'm going to have some Puka, but let's not forget about Devontae Adams and how good he's been. You speak of, they want to break records. They want to continue to feed this guy touchdowns. So love both of those guys, but Adams will be a lot less owned. Michael Wilson is just going to see so many targets. So we don't need to spend a ton of time. I know the question is, should I play him in tournaments? Should I not? I'm probably going to be above the field on Michael Wilson, honestly. So 40-ish%, I believe, is what we have him at. I'm going to have a ton of Wilson. With Brissett or even without, I think you're going to get a ton of that stack, but I think you can play him as a one-off. I know a lot of times people highly own play. I only want to play him correlated. He can have a big game, and Jacoby could struggle a little bit. So a lot of ways that you can go there. Abuka, I think, is great. I have a lot of Chuck stuff, and him and Bucky are my preferred ways to run that back. Speaking of Saints, love Devon Vele, and you can say this is chasing. It's a lot of targets, 15 targets over the last 2 weeks in a spot that they're going to be playing from behind against a clear pass funnel in Tampa Bay. I think he's tremendous value this week. And I was surprised to see, 1-2% ownership on him. And that will change if Olave's out. I kind of hope Olave's in as well. And we can get him at that such low ownership. So Burden in play. You guys spoke about him, Watson. There's some more value mid-range guys. Some deeper plays that I don't think will have ownership. I love A.D. Mitchell. We gushed about him for the last 2 weeks. I think Mechie is back in play, as I mentioned with Tyrod. Jalen Waddle on the other side of the game has been constantly 15, 20% owned. This week, likely under 10%. So I love that. And then some even deeper dives. We love Burden. We're going to get to Colston Loveland. Nobody wants to play DJ Moore without Rome Odunze. And I get it. It's been ugly. Still a guy that can put some big numbers on the board. So he's a great tournament option. And let's not forget about the other Green Bay guys. We love Watson. I like Love. I think stacking with Dobbs, with Wicks is something I'm going to be doing this weekend as well. Wicks coming off the big game. Dobbs boring, but he's going to be on the field a lot. Just a way to either get different with your Watson Love stuff by using those two or adding one that's going to be 1-2% owned. That's another combo I'm going for. But those three receivers in that Bears Green Bay game, DJ Moore, loaned, Dobbs, Wicks. Nobody's going to play those guys.
Dude, I love DJ Moore. I mean, he's had a couple of decent weeks for fantasy purposes. Like, he's 4,800. I mean, Rome's out. Like, yes, please. Definitely give me DJ Moore here. So I love that call. And what are we doing? Like Puka is going to be like way higher owned when he costs more, over $1,000 more than Devontae, who gets all the red zone targets.
Best goal line back in the league.
Like, what are we doing?
Is.
We're just playing Devontae, right? We're just shoving Devontae stacks this week. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm playing more Devontae than Puka. I mean, again, I get it with Puka, and the big game is coming, and it could very well be this week. But they love to throw this guy when they get down near the red zone. If not, it's generally Kyron or Corum. Like they just don't look for him enough, and that can change any given time. But yeah, at a fraction of the ownership, absolutely.
Yeah, $1,000 discount and huge ownership discount. Love those calls. Anyone else like Shakir? You've just been, just total bust last week.
He's like Jacoby Myers.
Receivers. Yeah, I hate Buffalo receivers.
But I feel like he's just like he's going to be back and play.
Does he ever put up a ceiling game? That's my question. And I have the same issue with Jacoby Myers. So yeah, we saw it last week. When does Shakir ever give a ceiling?
Zay Flowers is the king of that list. He is the best receiver of them, the most targets, the most yards, but still no touchdowns.
Yeah, never a ceiling. I mean, Zay Flowers, when he hits, he generally hits pretty big. I don't know that I can say.
Well, he started off week 1 with a 31, and we're like, okay, he's the absolute alpha wide receiver 1. This is what we were waiting for. We got the easy pairings, and then.
Did anybody mention McLaurin?
I
love McLaurin. Like 5,200.
Yeah, he's still priced for Monday Night Football.
Ton of targets last week.
Give me any of these guys that I know are capable of having a big game. That's like McLaurin. That's DJ Moore.
Yeah, play them over the Jacobys and Zays. And
yeah, there's upside there.
Yep, for sure.
Question about BTJ. Yeah, if I'm playing Lawrence, I much prefer BTJ to Jacoby Myers.
I like that stat from TJ. No touchdown from a receiver in 5 weeks from the Vikings. That's impressive.
And the fewest receptions as well. I mean, they've been pretty good against receivers. So, and the worry with McLaurin, Daniels and McLaurin didn't, they were both kind of in and out of the lineup, but they have not shown a great rapport this season. So,
how bad do they miss Sam Darnold?
Yeah, no kidding.
A lot.
That was a Rich Rebar stat from the Pick Six show, whereas also the Vikings run the highest double team rate to number one receivers in the NFL. Hence the JSN line that we got last game.
Yeah. All right. We do enough here?
I think someone was asking for value to go with our expensive running backs, and I think there's a ton of it this week. So,
yeah, and T. Higgins, but like less than 5%, around 5% ownership.
Yep.
It's another one. All right, this is a great tournament week. So I don't even know where I'm going fully, but I'm definitely looking for those like mid-range, high upside guys that I know can do it. So let's move over to tight end. Kyle Pitts is going to be chalk. I don't mind it. I played him last week. I don't mind it because he's Cousins. Like he's definitely the wide receiver 1 with Cousins. And yeah, you're probably not going to get a huge game against Seattle, but he's going to get volume and he's cheap. And so I don't mind it. It's not like I'm not saying I love it. I clearly said I don't mind it. Like,
I know. Again, tell me the last time Kyle Pitts had a big game.
Well, he worked. Whatever he did last week worked for me because no one else did anything really. Brenton Strange is cheap. Yes, there's more people back now, but I could see that working. Brock Bowers. I was so mad at myself. I loved him last week, but I didn't just click him final in my main lineup, and I was debating doing it. I was pretty mad at myself for that.
I put too much stock in Derwin James and their ability to shut down tight ends. That Vidal no, you had that, didn't you? Bowers Vidal combo.
I went with McBride, but I did have Vidal.
Yeah, I mean that was so good.
Fannin is in play now because we've Njoku. No more Njoku. Dawson, if Any interest in Dawson Knox, or do we just bet
Yes.
the first time, bet the anytime TD? No, that's what we used to do, at least
Yeah,
with Dawson
first
Knox.
touchdown. It's going to be one of those tight ends.
Buffalo tight end is in play. I don't care which one it is. Either one is going to be in play this week.
I saw Knox led all wideouts in routes last week for the Bills.
Bengals are so bad against tight end.
Yeah, anyone. So anyone with a pulse.
Throw anybody out there.
Colby Parkinson for another punt. Potentially Colston Loveland. I would play Loveland over Parkinson any day.
Yeah, there's more upside, but Parkinson's solid too.
And then we got to talk McBride at AK. So lead us off here.
I don't care what he costs. I don't care what the ownership is. You play Trey McBride. And we have another week. The prices are up. You know, it's not easy to get him in. He's not drastically underpriced on DraftKings like he was. No Marv. Like I'm going right back to this. And when I see the low ownership, I love it even more. So really like him. I really like Tyler Warren. I'm keeping an eye on that ownership. It's starting to kind of creep up here, but great spot against Jacksonville, who really struggles with tight ends. And not quite Cincinnati bad, but pretty bad against that position. And we know Jones pretty immobile right now, so I think you can get a little more creative with Tyler Warren around the goal line. Love the Strange call. Again, I if I'm stacking that team, I'm going BTJ and Strange and getting away from the Jacoby ownership. I think Loveland is a great play this week. I mentioned Buffalo tight end, so we'll see about Kincaid. If not, Knox is absolutely in play. I love the Harold Fannin call, who they are very creative with. And I think Darren Waller is in play. Came back last week and put some decent numbers on the board. And he's probably, their third best pass catcher if you factor in Waddle and Achane, but he's cheap once again this week. So lots of ways to go at the tight end position, but these mid-range guys really stand out. If you're not paying up, Strange, Loveland, Buffalo, Fannin, and Waller are my favorites. And
Yeah,
I'm
like
avoiding
Waller.
Kyle Pitts. Just going to say a chalky Kyle Pitts is not something that I want to do this week.
I like Waller. He went off in the first quarter right off the bat. I thought he was going to have a massive game, and then nothing. But then another week, a little healthier. He's on the field. I like him. Who do you like, Noto?
Yeah, a lot of the same names. I'm spending up as much as I can. I like the expensive tight ends more than the expensive wide receivers this week, just from a roster construction standpoint, because it's easier to play some of those cheaper receivers. So I like McBride. We have him at 7% ownership. Like, why aren't people playing him? I know he's expensive, but he's $1,000 cheaper than the expensive wide receivers, and he's producing just as high of a level. I like Bowers. I like Warren. Then off the board, I don't mind going to Zach Ertz. If you want to play if they're going to double McLaurin, like TJ just mentioned, target's got to go somewhere. And Ertz, he's been solid all season. So at 2% ownership, I'll take some shots there.
13 targets in their game against Denver the other night. 10 catches for 100 yards for Mr. Zach Ertz, who I declared dead like 5 years ago. I think it was like crazy. So yeah, suck me back in. Who else? Any out there plays? Cole Kmet maybe when people are going to Loveland. 2,700 could get a TD. I don't know.
I have a list of about 6 I really like. He didn't crack that list.
All right. Well, let's hear your list for defenses. Unless Noto has his list ready, because he nailed. Let's start with Noto. Just you have to after nailing the Seahawks last week.
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't mind the Browns at 3,700. They're probably going to be popular, but man, at home, they've been one of the better defenses, especially at home against Tennessee. Sign me up for that. Don't mind using the Buccaneers if you're playing Lucky Irving. I kind of like that combo. I like the Packers and Josh Jacobs combo as well. I don't feel great about any of the super cheap options. Like, I think the Commanders are going to be really popular, but against JJ McCarthy, I get it. Just road defenses that are bad, I struggle with those.
Yeah, it's just the spot against JJ would be it, but I think there's going to be they're just going to try to hide him as best they can, I think, but he'll make a dumb play or two. Titans are going to get some love. It looks like ownership. Browns are going to get some love. Man, I would love to afford the Denver.
Yep.
If I could do that.
For a cheapie, I'll throw out the Steelers.
Yeah,
Ravens
get off my
offensive-
list, TJ.
Sorry. My bad.
You're good. Keep going. I
Can we
love
call
the
Bobby?
TJ Poppins, by the way. So
Who?
Can we call
the
Bobby?
TJ Poppins with random stats and nuggets. We love it. So, Kirk, you got more? I know you were listing a few there. You like?
I don't. I'm just throwing out names, options, seeing if you guys want to pick up anyone.
Well, there's pay ups I really like, and it's always a way to get different as people want to go cheap. So we mentioned the Browns. I mean, Cam Ward is as giving to opposing defenses as anybody. This is one of the best defenses in the league. That one to me really stands out. Seattle against Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like a pick six guarantee. It seems
the same as you look. I had a lot of Seattle last week, not as much as Noto, but it was the same. Like, what are we doing? The best defense in the league against Max Brosmer. Like, how did we think this was going to go? So, Seattle, Cleveland, and Denver. You know, Geno's been a turnover machine as well. So I love paying up for all three of those. Mid-range, I really like Tampa as much as I like Shuck. It's still a good spot for this Tampa Bay defense. I think Miami's in play against Tyrod. Green Bay is in play, you guys mentioned, with or without Jacobs. Really like the Steelers. Lamar has not been great. You know, this is a team that can generate some pressure, generate turnovers. So they stand out on the cheap. I like the Saints. Baker Mayfield to not 100%. So I think they're a good cheap way to go. But really trying to pay up as much as I can for the combo of Seattle, Denver, and Cleveland this week.
So my question every week is always, how low can I go? Right. And we have the ability. We have the ability to go as low as possible with the Raiders here, and Richie Smalls is saying that too.
Is Crosby going to play? I heard a nugget he may miss this week. So
yeah. So monitor that, because at least you can get some sacks.
Crosby's in.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, TJ.
So 2K, I'll probably do it. I don't care. I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings really. I just think, I mean, if I could pay for the Broncos, that would be the way. Them or the Browns are the way to go. All right, let's start our build. We're just gonna follow everything Noto says because he's on a heater here. So let's start off the build here, Noto.
All right, let's go. Do we play Toyotathon narrative?
I mean,
Love and Watson.
How can you not?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's do it.
I play fresh haircut narratives. I play all narratives, so have to.
Love narratives.
So are we doing Love to Watson?
Yeah.
So that opens up Burden or Loveland or both.
We Burden would we do DJ Moore.
Yeah, I love that too.
Sure.
Gets us different. I'm playing so much James Cook. I don't think he's highly owned enough. Like, he might be the highest owned running back. It ain't high enough.
1 second here.
Ooh, does TJ have a manual bump to James Cook going on?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I'm getting like him, and I want either Allen or Cook in every lineup this week.
Yeah.
So I bumped up James Cook to as high that seemed reasonable, so that I can make sure I'm getting as much as possible.
Love it.
4 for 4.
All right, so
What do you guys think of a Bucky Irving, Devon Vele little mini?
Yeah.
can I play my Kenneth Walker in the flex?
If we pair him with Seattle.
In Seattle
sure.
D.
Yeah. And then we'll see what we got left for tight end.
What does that leave us?
6K.
Tight end, enough for a Brock Bowers.
Well, we could go. I like Browers.
Warren
with that.
obviously there too, but that's like then we'll need some adjustments, leaving 1,000 on the table probably.
Or you could go McBride and min salary.
Yeah, like that's
defense.
exactly what I was going to just say. McBride and the Raiders.
Good with that too.
That makes sense too. I'll probably have a McBride or Wilson in every lineup this week.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Read that lineup off.
Jordan Love, James Cook, Bucky Irving, Devon Vele, Christian Watson, DJ Moore, Trey McBride, Kenneth Walker, and Raiders defense.
Ship it. Who's entering that for us? Noto should get that in there for us.
Yeah,
I mean, we should have a free roll with Noto, shouldn't we? I mean, isn't that the rules? Yeah.
Let me screenshot. Make sure I get it right. All right, we're good.
All right. Any final words for the people, fellas?
Again, congrats to our boy. I love seeing, fellow compadres win money like that. So, Kirk, I know you had a good week too, which got you through that colonoscopy. So, love to see it. But a fun week. So, chat was great once again. We appreciate their interaction. Thank you to TJ, as always, for his producing and his nuggets of wisdom. And good luck to everybody. We don't win. We always want it to be one of you guys. So, appreciate all the support.
Noto?
Yeah, feeling a big week for one of you two. So bring it home. And yeah, if you're one of those people that just sweat your lineups way too hard, try what I do. Don't check. You can check the stats and all that. Don't check until the very end because you'll always be looking at you're currently winning and then be disappointed by the end of the day. So just try it out. It's kind of nice.
I sweat everything.
I'm more like Noto. I do better when I'm not looking at it. I'm watching the games. I have an idea of who I have, but I'm not sitting there staring at it.
If I was like Noto, I'd have like 3 more phones that I've destroyed that in the past that from throwing them. But anyways, I love the tilt. Love to tilt. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, producer TJ. Thank you, chat. Don Yeezy, you got to be here a little quicker. You lost the minus 1,100 that I had on you. So I'm already starting the week in the negative. But Noto, congratulations. Beer, hope you have a huge, massive week. Sure you will. Coming off of that Tinsley call 2 weeks ago. The show's been fire all season long. So let's keep it rolling. And thank you. So this has been the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast, and we'll catch you next week.